Morning, everybody. Yeah. I'm a little bit late. I should be up from about 6, but I was up a little bit last night with the family watching a little show, and it was really interesting. We woke up late this morning, so I just decided that I'm just gonna give a stream that I had promised. I should have done this tonight anyway. Anyway. So today, looking at the real fact that some conservationists and I guess if DPK was like active on YouTube, he would probably like this topic. You know, you have sections in the world where in which some aquarium fish are like a dime a dozen. When I say a dime a dozen, meaning like it's like swimming precariously within the water space that exists around it, right? You have places in the world that some fish are endemic, native, and you can't find it anywhere else, right? And to some extent, persons have been, environmentalists, conservationists, have the opinion that uh, removing the fish from the wild is a bad thing, and allowing them to stay in the wild is best for the preservation of some fish species. This short talk, I don't know if I'll be here for the entire 60 minutes, but I'll be here for a bit. I want to hear your views on this. You have several fish species that exist out there. Tropical. I'm talking about tropical fish. I live in the tropics, so I'm talking about tropical fish, right? You have several fish species that exist within the aquarium hobby, right? A matter of fact, persons keep practically anything within an aquarium. From sharks, the only thing I have not seen kept in the wild is a what do you call it, a white shark. You know, the white shark, the big shark. But persons keep practically everything in aquariums, ponds, and tanks, specially designed for these aquatic creatures, right? Throughout the world, within the different sphere of social and economic boundaries, from shark to large fish to very tiny fish. Persons just find it enthused keeping these fish. My share today is about tropical rare fish. Now, some fish are rarely seen in the hobby, right? Some fish like the red shoulder severum, flower shrimp, metallic platinum white fancy guppy, right? And you have another one they call the Tropheous Moorii, Ikoli Cichlid. If I pronounce it wrong, I apologize for those persons who are um fish enthusiasts and they know to like balance off the pronunciation proper. Sorry about that. And then you have the orange flame Tropheous Moorii cichlid, right? These cichlids fetch healthy prices within the aquarium you know hobby. I mean, like prices ranges from like $64 to like like I'm not talking about no huge fish. I'm not talking about arowana neither. I'm not talking about discus. I'm talking about some small fish. They get big, but I'm talking about some small fish, right? So these fish like 60, and I'm quoting in American dollars here, right? So if I was supposed to like break it down to Jamaican dollars, it would be let's say the Tropheous. The Tropheous is running somewhere around 65. It would be roughly about 64, 65 um times 142. That's the amount of money I would pay in Jamaica just for the fish, not including fishing, sorry, not including tax and shipping, right? So that's where I am at. Escapes insane. One boss from South Africa. Big up yourself. Remember, me tell yourself, email me. right? And when I see no email yet, but me still away. Me have trust and hope say I got email me soul. All right, we're talking about the whole idea of keeping keeping fish in aquariums. Is this really helping our environment? Is this really preserving nature so as to ensure that the world continue as it is? Because as you all know, aquatic life has a great contribution to make within the wild, right? It contributes to the cycle of life, even affecting how humans exist, right? And I was like running through some I was running through examples of some tropical fish found that is like call it no rare. It's not really it's not available right in the stores, but persons will actually spend their money, spend their good money just to get one. For example, blue cobalt zebra angel and cobalt zebra angel. They fetch like $50 a one. I'm talking about the Tropheous. The Tropheous Moorii fetch like 64. The Tropheous Moorii Ikoli is you have two, one from Lake, well, the two of them is from Lake Tanganyika, right? You have the orange flame Tropheous, and that's like roughly about 30 US dollars. I mean, like for one fish, right? So if you're going to buy a colony, so it's a good amount of money, that right? And so it's range Tropheous ranges from like as low as $25 to as high as probably about $70 for one, right? And these are just the cheaper ends of the rare fish within the hobby itself, right? You have different type of Tropheous depending on the color, right? You have nose fish, right? Elephant nose fish, right? Which ranges like 35, $36 for one. Those fish, um, sax, sax, saxfacitos, saxfacitos. That's why I call ban this. I can't pronounce it, but you will see them in the description. Right? These fish like the ban this distichichodus six facetious fish that's like selling like for nearly $200 a one, right? And these fish are found in the wild and they are sold. They are mostly found in the wild and they are sold to aquarists, to fish lovers who actually will go the extra mile importing fish for their aquarium space. And the question being leveled, to all. Thirsty rabbit, what go on, boss? Yes, 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 I will boss. Yeah, yeah. How things? One love, boss. One love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking about the whole idea of environmentalists coming down on persons who proclaim to be well, persons like myself who are actually keeping fish at home in aquariums and ponds, and persons are actually saying that we are doing more harm to the environment than good. We should allow the fish to actually stay in the wild. And there's a counter argument to that, thirsty rabbit, which suggests that a lot of these fish that you see aquariums actually keep are actually preserving the fish themselves from being extinct. A lot of fish have become extinct because of climate change, as you all know, and also because of predation. No, because of climate change, a lot of fish have actually left their original domain where they normally live and have actually seek to, hi boss, big up yourself. Give the goldfish. Thanks for joining in. Respect. Boss. I went to Pennsylvania. I was in Pennsylvania at Hershey's in 2018. And Gil, I was in Pennsylvania in 2018, and I on the way to Hershey's, I saw some huge carp in the water. I mean, those carps were like large as my hand. And at Hershey's itself, these fish they don't have bright colors, but they're like they're really huge in the water. If you don't look good, you'll be able to recognize them, but they are really huge. Ah, South Africa, yeah, and Australia in the house. Good mix, good mix, good mix, good mix. All right. So, what's your take on the whole idea of environmentalists actually sharing their opinion that keeping fish in aquarium does more harm than good? Now you have fish that is kept in a matter of fact, when you go to some aquatic store, big box aquatic store, they will tell you that you have wild caught fish and you have farm bred fish. Now, wild caught fish are fish that, as it suggests, have been caught from the wild, meaning that persons actually go into the rivers, goes into the stream with their apparatus, and they actually extract these fish from the wild, package them, and actually sell them to big box stores, and these big box store would actually send them to the customers, right? And you have farm bred fish that, as it suggests, these fish are actually bred within a system. For example, like myself, I actually keep aquarium fish at home in ponds where I breed them and I actually trade them with my local enthusiastic peeps, and also with businesses who actually trade aquarium fish. So the question begs me to really dig deep into this, as environmentalists are screaming loudly now, very loud, suggesting that the whole idea of selling fish, the whole idea of getting fish from the wild and selling it to persons to place into this glass prison. Yes, that's what they call it, a glass prison, is unethical. It's not right, and people should stop do that. Fish like snowflake eel and yellow Congo river tetra and premium red terror cichlid, right? These fish are fish that are normally it comes from the wild and it is sold to persons out there enthusiastic about fish. For example, again, the rare Giardini arowana, right? As I shared in a video a few months, if not years ago, that some sections within where some sections in the world where nature can get arowana has civil wars, have civil wars between different regions, right? And you actually catching arowana actually risk your own life being actually snuffed out, your own life being, yeah, they go five. Yeah man, yeah man, yeah man, yeah man. The gill the goldfish. I'm so sorry that at the moment when I was like going to Hershey's, um, I never had my underwater camera as yet, so I couldn't stop to actually do some recording. But I went by the mall, nearby Hershey. I don't know what's the name of the mall. Honestly, I don't remember the name of the mall, right? And I also saw the mall had a huge pond inside, and in that pond you had some of those very same fish, but some of them had color, and it was really fascinating because I am originally like Brooklyn, New York, Long Island, and I have never seen that before, where it's huge ponds in the middle of a mall. I mean, like with the waterworks, with the waterscape, the whole dimension of it, and it just looks so beautiful, right? It was a summer, so I don't know how they treat the pond. Let's say in the cold period, I don't know if they actually take out the fish out of the pond. I guess that's one of the reasons why persons in areas like Long Island, where in which I mostly stay whenever I'm in the States, or in Brooklyn, they never normally have that. right? And where I went in Long Island, where they actually had a koi farm where they sold kois, but I still never had my underwater camera. And so and I never spent long, so I never did any video on that piece. But they actually sold, and they sold kois, and it was so unique how they actually developed the ponds with line with stuff, triangle, square stuff, and it was just so neat. Um, wow, Thirsty Rabbit. One thing I love about Thirsty Rabbit, his mindset about fish keeping. Whenever the fish reaches a particular size, he actually transfer it to a more appropriate space in which the fish will be able to survive. Right. So unlike some persons who would keep large fish in small spaces, Thirsty Rabbit is enthusiastic about fish keeping, and he actually he actually be mindful of the whole idea that some fish needs large spaces to grow. He actually make arrangement for these fish to be transferred to environment that is more suitable for it to actually to survive, right? By Hershey's, it's so natural. It's so serene. Being at Hershey's, being on the rides, and through the entire sections of Hershey's, you actually have the river. It's a river, right? Gil the goldfish. It's a river. You have the river actually running through Hershey's, and you can actually see the fish swimming. And I think there is something where you can put a coin in, and it gives you some amount of food, and you can actually feed the fish, and the fish is like waiting there for that feed. It's really awesome being there, right? It was really a great experience for me. Driving all the way from Long Island to Hershey's, it was an experience. It was really good. It was really good, right? So yeah, just as I was saying, Thirsty Rabbit, what he does is that whenever the fish reaches, I'm so sorry that he lives so far. I would have probably taken it from him and tried to breed it myself. Yeah, man, it was really, really, really a good experience. Really a good experience. Um, Scapes Insane. Hit me up, right? Just put the at at Gmail on that, and you can hit me up as soon as you can, right? And Thirsty Rabbit probably would have been a little bit timid to actually send his fish across, because you know that chances are I might be tempted to have a meal out of it, right, Thirsty Rabbit? Alright, alright, cool. So we're talking about the whole idea of environmentalists coming down on fish keepers, enthusiasts like myself, and persons within the hobby, suggesting that they should be, they should let the creatures of the wild be. For example, you know that some persons have weird pets, right? Persons have lion as pet, persons have tigers as pet, persons have monkeys as pet, birds as pet, and we have fish, right? Um, so fish like, for example, marble lionfish, right? Rare fish seen in aquarium hobby, but it's something to look at, right? Blue discus is also awesome to look at, right? Tiger ruby, Mickey Mouse platy, right? That is also a small fish, but it's also rare, right? Marble granite knife fish, right? That's really really cool fish to have, right? But these are fish that is not necessarily found amongst many fish keepers throughout their hobby, right? The thing is, are we as fish keeper doing what I call it extremism shall I say, practicing extremism in collecting these fish from the wild, thus creating a space where in which it is now, what I call it now, you can't find it, it's rare. Fish like Australian yabby, not really fish, it's a lobster. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen that lobster within your experience as a fisherman, Thirsty Rabbit, the yabby, Australian yabby? That's Rabbit. I can see that you are a man of my own heart, right? So it's really it tastes, it tasty, right? Yeah man, yeah man, yeah man. Being a part of the world that you can consume your pets, it's really awesome because really consume dogs, right? Really consume monkeys or lions, but you can consume your bird and you can consume your fish. It's really strange hobby, right? All right. So Thirsty Rabbit, have you ever seen the Australian yabby lobster? I understand that it is rare and it can be fetch a healthy price out there, and also dragon scale half moon beta fish. I think Aquafunk did a video on that species of fish a few months ago, where it talk about the dragon scale has practically it's blind after a while because the scales actually goes over the eye, right? Also spotted gara spilata algae eater, right? I've never ever seen that on YouTube, right? These fish fetch good prices. And also, there's the Roberti Tetra, right? These fish, as I said before, fetch really good price in the hobby. And it's been considered by some environmentalists that they should lobby different agency for certain fish extraction from the wild to be prohibited, thus allowing the fish stock which exists within certain areas to actually increase. One should be mindful, however, that some fish species, right, yes, are not yummy. So would you actually keep them as a pet, Thirsty Rabbit, or would you just have a nice meal since it's a lobster? And I have not seen, well, I have not seen for real. Come to think about it, I've not seen anyone show it. I've seen them show shrimp. I see them show frogs, fish, different aquatic species of pet. But I cannot recall anyone have actually shown I can't believe anybody have actually shown. Okay, anybody have actually shown any of these fish, well, aquatic creatures, as one of their stock within their aquarium? I'm talking about like lobster, right? Those huge thing, yeah. And that lobster is mainly, wow, wow. Okay, Thirsty Rabbit, must show us, man. Show us the yabby. Those can fetch a good amount of price if bred and kept and sold to the local trader. You can make some money on that because not much persons throughout the world know what an Australian yabby looks like, right? They are like not that popular, right? And as you should know by now, fish that is not popular tend to fetch a higher price than fish that is popular. And that is one of the reasons, well, and fish that breeds a lot tend to fetch less price than fish that is more complicated to breed. And that is why I can say outrightly that my convict cichlids will fetch less price, less monies than, let's say, if I bred cardinal tetra or neon tetra. One neon tetra or cardinal tetra in Jamaica would probably fetch probably about $1,200 just for one. I know that a neon tetra and a cardinal tetra is about 1 inch in size, right? So therefore, if I am going to be stocking up my aquarium with 20 neon tetra, I'm talking about nearly $20,000, right? Just to have a tank of neon tetra. Well, you'd actually divide the 20,000, call it 21, 22,000, by $142, and there now you would actually get the real working out as to how much in US dollars this would be. All right. So here we are. We're talking about environmentalists. We're talking about whether or not we as fish keepers should actually limit the way in which we actually keep fish. Should we? Should we just decide, listen, we are actually playing a part, a role in the preservation of aquatic species by actually keeping, caring, and breeding these creatures? Because as I said before in the preliminary section of the discussion, um, several fish species have been the actual the location have been disrupted as a result of global warming, climate change, right? So as a result of global warming, climate change, what you find is that several tropical fish are now displaced from their original location. Now in Jamaica, let's go salt water a little bit, right? In Jamaica, the doctor fish, the government have actually prohibited the catching and the sale of doctor fish, right? Because doctor fish plays an integral role along our coral reefs, right? It helps in present preservation of our coral reefs. So in an effort to ensure that our coral reef um are maintained and the population of the doctor fish is is there, they have actually placed a ban on fisher folks with doctor fish. So whenever fisher folks do go to sea and they actually get a doctor fish in the net, they are supposed to release them into the water. They're not supposed to catch them and carry them to shore, which they will be traded as a part of the meal menu, right? The doctor fish is a fish that back in the days, it's awesome. It has an awesome flavor, especially when you're steaming it, especially when you're, putting all those okra and those seasoning to it, and you actually put it in the oven or you steam it in the pot. Doctor fish have a really cool taste, right? So far, environmentalists have been warning persons that consume fish from like snapper, see, snapper, that snapper tends to nibble at the bottom of boats of ships, and as a result they have tested several specimen of, or should I say, yes, several selective specimen of snapper fish, and they have found that snapper fish in the tropic region have a high count, or should I say, have a high, yeah, a high amount of thing there of, what do you call it, some compounds in it, metallic compounds in it. So I think it's lead or mercury. Yeah. So if we continue to consume snapper fish, mercury, which can result in our bodies becoming susceptible to tumors, which eventually lead to benign and cancerous formation within our bodies, can make us sick. So there are environmentalists which would actually share that. Listen, yeah, mercury, thirsty rabbit. So they actually nibble at the boat bottom, trying to feed off the microscopic organism that it finds itself, latch itself onto the base of the ships and the boat, and they, as a result, they have a high count of mercury. So they tend to have this within their system. It's not detrimental to their health, but when we catch them as humans and we actually prepare them as meal and consume them, it can actually hurt our bodies and we can be sick, in not necessarily immediately, but in the future. So although a lot of persons are presently you know not really into the consumption of red meat, like myself, like the beef and the chicken and the sheep meat and the goat meat. A lot of persons are now for like vegetables, fruits and nuts and grains and fish, right? But there are issues all around, regardless of how you might try. The fish consume mercury from out the ship. Fish consume waste that comes from the shore, and these wastes can be toxic to us as human. We might not know we consume these fish, we get sick, and it's just a messed up world that we live in, right? And when you talk about the fruits and the vegetable, I was having a class the other day where in which I was talking to my students. I teach geography, right? And I said to my students, if you have, let's say, 20 acres of land and you're farming peppers or okra or some cabbage or lettuce, right? And you want to actually you have diarrhea and you need to go to the bathroom, and you're the manager, you practically own the farm, but your office is like a few clicks away, right? What would you do if when you're in the field, like you feel as if you want to, you want to let loose? Would you A, would you try to jump in, would you try to jump into the vehicle, the van, and okay. Exactly, exactly. So anyway, in Jamaica, them say anyway you go, Maka joke you, right? So this is just a messed up world that we live in, Thirsty Rabbit. A messed up world because fish consume a lot of toxic stuff out there, right? And we not knowing what they consume, they die, right? But environmentalists are like at fish, fishermen, right, saying that fishermen are actually depleting the stock within the ocean too rapidly. As a result, in a few years' time, there will be no fish in the sea. And there's a reason why several fish, whenever they actually give birth to fries, babies, they give birth in the 50s and the hundreds and the thousands. That's because, one, nature have a way of replacing that which was lost. Nature knows that the fries that have been born to that fish, some will be eaten by predators, some will actually die, some will not hatch, and the rest will actually serve as a replacement for those that exist that will actually be either destroyed by human activity, consumed, or by predation themselves, right? So in a sense, nature have a way of replacing itself, replacing its stock, right? Some agriculturalists, like myself, you can call yourself agriculturalist, whether or not you say aquarist or agriculturalist, agriculturalist, yeah. We can argue, right, that whenever we do keep fish within our aquariums, this serves as a means of preserving a set stock of fish for future, right? However, releasing your fish that you had in your aquarium in the wild is a no-go, right? This should never ever be done, right? Probably some persons might disagree with me. This should never ever be done. That is the reason why um I advocate that you keep fish within your aquarium space that you are 100% sure that you can manage these fish throughout the rest of its life, right? Before you actually purchase an aquarium fish, right? It is suggested, yes, it is suggested that you actually, I'm opening the window here, get some breeze. It is suggested, right, that you do some research on every fish that you're gonna keep. You know that the common pleco can go up to like 15 feet, right? In length, right? 15 feet? No, not 15 feet. I mean like 15 inches. Mistake. Like 15 inches in length, right? Really huge. A pleco can go as huge as a koi, right? And a pleco, the more it grows, is the more it will need space, the more it will need certain type of environment to actually survive, to breed, so as to, you know, to encourage a different generation of pleco within its space, right? So you breed fish, you keep fish, should I say, according to your ability to keep, right? Now back to the story regards to the whole idea of environmentalists and aquarists, right? I've seen on I've seen where in which you have environmentalists have been looking at several fish keeping channels, right? And they are, you know, they are like hitting to see what you know what inhumane activity that is actually occurring on this channel. And as soon as that channel owner have actually made an error in doing certain things on his or her channel, you find that they are flagged, and they are being cautioned by YouTube. And YouTube actually sends message saying that this person have such and such and such and such and such, right? So as an enthusiast within the fish keeping hobby, feeding let's say piranhas live food can mean whether or not your channel is flagged for graphic content, right? Yeah, this happened, right? So as a YouTuber, as a fish keeper, as an enthusiast, we should be careful as to what we do, because it actually resonates out there as we being you know, we not actually doing what we're supposed to do as stewards of our environment. Environmentalists refer to us as humans as stewards of our environment. As a result of being stewards of our environment, that means we should take care of our environment. Yes, live feeding, brother. Live feeding. Live feeding. Right? So persons have actually been flagged by YouTube for graphic content because they have been feeding fish. Like, for example, they might feed a fish a rat, or another fish, or they might feed a fish a frog, and they actually see everything there, the action and all that. And persons have been flagged for that. If you check back on some of these contents, you'll see that these contents have been removed by YouTube for graphic content, for graphic content portrayal, right? So YouTube is regarded as a rated PG medium in which you actually share. So certain Rohan, nice seeing you, respect. The piranha guy. Right. So some contents have been removed because of graphic content. Regardless, some persons might say that this is graphic, whatever, whatever. You have some environmentalists not liking that, and as a result of that, the content have been removed for that. Right. So as YouTubers, we should be careful as to how we portray you know, creatures within our care, because as they have suggested, they are stewards of we are stewards of the environment. We must also know that these non-profit organizations, these charity organizations, these environmentalists and conservationalists, they have wide tentacles. They have wide tentacles, and they are heavily funded by several agencies which seeks to try to preserve our natural environment. So regardless of how well established you are on YouTube with regards to how many viewers you are monetized, you have you have a lot of subscribers, you are popular. When you do certain things which displays inhumane treatment of any creature at all, you can be flagged, you can be cautioned by YouTube, and in some circumstances, probably you might be removed, your channel might be removed if this continues over time, right? So you should be mindful of that, right? Coming along, we're talking about the whole idea of environment and being an environmentalist, a conservationist. So if you realize that let's say that you live in Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh, um, there's a lot of blue zebra angel, right? In swimming in the river, local river, right? And you decide that you're going to be catching some and you're going to be selling to the local trader, which will actually export them overseas, let's say to North America or even to sections of Europe for sale. Hold on, let me check what let's see. That's true. That's true, Thirsty Rabbit. That's true because I've seen persons um taking tour. I've seen persons taking tour of pet shops, and I've seen like some huge fish. I mean, arowana like in 50-gallon aquarium, and the arowanas are not small; they're tall. I mean, like, really huge, right? And they're like curled, and a huge amount of fish in a small space. And um, the owners will tell you that these fish won't be here for long. They are for sale, and they will tell you that these fish just arrived, so we are actually making spaces for them. So that's the reason why they are there right now, right? Yeah, there are some weird explanations, some rationale behind that. And not only that, Thirsty Rabbit, you have for real, you have some enthusiasts, some Aquarist enthusiasts, to be popular, to be in the limelight, to have a lot of persons gravitate to their channel. What they have done, they have gone out and they have spent huge money getting fish that goes very large, so as to win those persons over, wishing Dead Fred is here. Dead Fred is here. Walk on, my boss. Walk on, my boss. Pick up yourself. Pick up yourself. We're talking about we don't have much time left. I've been here for about 42 minutes. I said that I was going to stay the entire 60 minutes, but this conversation is worth expounding on. Um, uh, we're talking about the whole idea of me keeping fish, I keeping fish at my yard. Am I doing something wrong to my environment? Am I actually extracting the local fish from the local environment to keep into my aquarium, which eventually will die one day, and eventually the fish in the wild will be depleted, right? Is there any truth to this? A lot of environmentalists will debate that too much fish is being sold in the local stores, and that the wild fish should remain in the wild, right? Because you all know that persons sell fish, wild fish versus farmed fish. Now, wild fish is more expensive than farmed fish. As I said before, wild fish is those fish that you actually get from the wild. You go to the river, you have your trap, you set the fish trap, and you collect the fish, you carry them to the store, and you sell them as wild caught fish. And you have farm bred fish, those fish, in which you actually have a farm, a little farm like myself, I have some guppies, some platies, some swordtail, some different type of fish. I breed them when they reach certain size, I sell them to the local store, they sell it to the customers, right? So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at, right? So let's Fred, what's your take on the whole idea of environmentalists actually swooping down on several Aquarius enthusiasts, cautioning them not to actually, keep wild fish, right? Because when they breed them as farm fish, it's totally different. A matter of fact, some persons are so extremist in being an environmentalist. They are now advocating that we should not kill anything for food, right? We should be the world should be vegans, right? That's another school of thought. Ah, yeah. That Fred, it was a good night. Last night was a good conversation. We had a good conversation last night, Thirsty Rabbit, in a reflection mode. I'm not coming out the topic in which I'm at right now, but last night we were I was like pushing forward the argument with regards to men empowerment. Men should actually stand the ground and have a positive role within society. Men should stop the whole idea of just accepting themselves for who they are right now. They should actually push out, try to be certified, try to get a job, try to maintain their family, stick out with their family, although time is rough. Don't abandon their family, their kids, support their kids as best as they can. Some men have the opportunity to go to greener pastures. For example, in Jamaica, you have some man that they leave their family, they go overseas in America or England, and they actually start another family, and they abandon the family that existed in Jamaica. So it was a really healthy discussion last night. It was so amazing last night, that discussion. Um, it was so amazing, boss. You'll be surprised as to what some persons have actually shared. And I was so emotional last night for that live stream, boss. That I was so emotional for that live stream. I wasn't even watching the time, as the 60 minutes just blow up so quickly. It was amazing how quick the time have actually blown up. But it was a heartfelt session in which I think that it's worth those persons who actually missed that stream last night, you should check it out. Right? It was really, really good. I mean, check it out, check the chat and the argument flow, and share your opinions on it. All right, so let's get back to the topic, because we have roughly about 13 minutes left, and then I have to go, because today is Sunday. A lot of persons doing the stream, but I don't really care about them. That's them, right? A lot of persons doing the stream, yeah. But I have other things to do, that's to prepare me for next week, including preparation for my classes next week, which begins tomorrow, right? Okay, let's check out what Thirsty Rabbit says. Thirsty Rabbit says, to keep a cat that goes out with no beds on, the more dangerous to the environment than fish in that. That's my opinion, right? Yeah. I mean, Thirsty Rabbit, check this. A lot of persons say that they are environmentalists, and they're trying to preserve the environment and the wild, and those creatures. They like wild animals. They like the whole idea. Pets, and they don't want cruelty to animals. In Jamaica, of late, I think past 2-3 months, there have been about 4 or 5 vicious dog attack. I mean, like, the dogs, they jump the fence, yeah, jump the fence, and actually tear out a young boy's, I think he's 6 year old, tear off him face, him side, and him foot. He had to be flown overseas. I think he's somewhere in Florida for operation. Another one happened the other day, where a family dog actually bit a 4 or 5 year old. Beat him up really bad in his face, in his side, his back. So a lot of things are happening with animals that really need for more attention by those persons that are more sympathetic to animals than humans themselves. Ah, then tell me, say, you come back here and lose some. You go on, boss. You go on, boss. Uh, but that friend. What I'm saying, when I say endangered, right? Okay, so let's say that a fish is quote unquote endangered dead friend. Is endangered, that means it is not much of them around, because whether they are endangered by predation by wild animals or wild other aquatic creatures, or humans themselves are actually catching them to consume them, right? So wouldn't it be the right thing to do to get some of these fish, keep them within a defined space, and to get them breeding again, and but breeding in such a way that they are not so in tune to domestication, right? So you would actually breed them in like pond like settings, and in the future probably you could like release them back in the wild, because it's a little bit different domesticating your aquatic creatures than than actually keeping them for the main sake of releasing them in the wild. It's a little bit technical because uh, uh, I agree on that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on a sec. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Thirsty rabbit. That's true. I love dogs too, but if you're unable to keep your dogs within a space that is safe for all concerned, for all around, I think that dog, if the dog is too vicious, that dog should be put to sleep. Probably some persons might um be like arguing on that point. Let me share a point with you. There was this within a community. There's this man. He goes around, his work is he actually visits yards that is they call the rich people, the upper class community. You would know these people, they have like huge tree like mango tree, apple tree, these tree. So he would like visit them, visit the yards whenever the folks are away. He doesn't steal like stuff from the house. What he does, he actually picks the fruit from the tree, put it into a bag, and take it to town and sell it. So he went to this yard in particular. Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea, right? Right. So yeah. So he went to this particular yard, Deadford and Thirsty Rabbit, right? Where in which I think it was mangoes. But the mango tree is like at the front of the yard. But the mango tree is very tall. So he went, he never saw the dogs, but the dogs saw him. So he pulled the gate is not the gate, the dogs are in the yard. They don't trouble anybody outside. So he pulled the gate, he locked back the gate, and he climbed the tree, right, with his bag. And he picked the mangoes. And he placed the mangoes in the bag. And hold on a sec. Okay, 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 okay. Yes, yes, yes. But let me tell the story quick before we get to that dead friend. So it's about the dogs, right? How the dog story. So the dog climbed up the tree. Sorry, not the dog. The man climbed up the tree with the bag. And when he was about to come down, the dogs are like there, like little pets. So the dog, like, they take the time and they crawl. So by the time the man was ready now to step down, the dog was like right at the foot of the tree. Like the dog said, "Yo, where you go?" So the man, he was there from about minutes after 10 in the morning. And he sat in the tree until, because it's about four huge dogs, right? He sat in the tree until about minutes after 6 in the night. And then after 6 in the night now, the owner for the property came, he opened the gate, and he noticed that the dogs were around the tree. So he looked up and he saw the man in the tree with a bag of mangoes, right? And he went in, he did his thing, bathed, he ate his dinner, he came back out, and he called all the dogs by name and tell them to go around the back, right? when he when he that's a good thing, that Fred. That's a very very good thing. I like the idea. But you see, how we do those things in repopulating our waterways is that we must be careful not to domesticate these aquatic creatures, because when you domesticate them, they will be expecting this domesticated attitude whenever you actually place them in the wild. That now makes them more susceptible for predation and for persons to actually catch them again and to further put them in aquariums and stuff. And that way they won't be actually be released in the wild. So there are some steps that we take in doing so. So coming back to the story with the dogs, right? So the gentleman actually came underneath the tree and he said, boss, this is my yard, right? If you ever come back in my yard again and pick mangoes, right? I am not gonna come back out here for you. You and the dog gonna have to make that arrangement, right? And he opened the gate, and the dogs were obedient. The dogs never troubled him. So, in a sense, the dogs were actually doing their duty. But you have cases in Jamaica where you have dogs roaming the street. I mean, like, pack of like 10, 12 dogs. For those persons who exercise like myself, in the mornings, you have to carry a stick because you want to ensure that you can actually hit at the dog, not necessarily hit the dog, but hit at the dog to ensure that they stay away from you whenever they try to attack you on the road. That's how it is at times, right? Talking about repopulating the fish in the wild, the domestication of fish in the wild, um fish from the wild, we must be very careful as fish keepers. I guess Deadfred have a strategy in which he actually helped to populate and at the same time win them onto, fending for themselves, because in the wild they're gonna have to know fend for themselves. They're gonna have to know learn to defend their territory. They're gonna have to know learn how to get away from predation and all of that, right? So that's a really interested, a really insightful thing, Deadfred. I guess Deadfred, you can probably do a stream talking about all that and how you're doing it and how you plan to achieve this goal, right? Right. But you see, Gil, the goldfish, you're gonna first have to breed them domesticatedly, right? But that now is a step that you have to take carefully, tread carefully, because you don't want them to be dependent on domestication, the owner actually manipulating the environment for them to breed and for the fries to survive. They have to be doing that for themselves in the wild, because you will not be there in the wild to protect them, to ensure that the spawn actually survive, right? I think that's I think that's um a special. I think that's really really cool, right? A really really cool thing to do, right? Yes. Yeah. Some fish are native and endemic to certain areas, and they are restricted as to whether or not you can collect them and keep them, right? There's a lot of environmentalists and conservationists that actually believe that keeping fish, breeding fish for release in the wild is a very haphazard way of preserving our natural environment. While some persons actually, well, some conservationists, environmentalists actually practice this by having huge systems that imitates the wild, and eventually the fish will be released in a similar wild condition, natural condition, where which the fish will actually be, feeling as if it's at home anyway, right? Yeah, yeah, it's a very, very, very good thing, and I applaud you, Bedfred. And I want to see you do something, some feature, and that step that you are taking in fish keeping as aquarists as fish keeping hobbies, as persons who love the environment. I was wondering when Chewy was going to come on, but probably he was like sleeping because Chewy goes to bed very early and wakes up very late. I don't know if he was on a date last night, but Chewy's here. Welcome, Chewy. I appreciate you being here. Much gratitude, boss. I got some ideas. What you're saying from what I've seen in. Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, that would be good, Thirsty Rabbit. If you and Dead Fred probably could come up with something, and I would throw my 2 cents in, where which we have a feature which features environmental conservation of our aquatic species and steps that we can take so as to preserve or or depleting stocks that exist throughout the world as far as aquarium fish is concerned. We could probably knock our three heads together and think of ingenious ways in which we can actually do this. Yes, 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 yes. That's true. That's true. That's true. Chewy. But as you know, all know, Chewy. Regardless, for example, Chewy, you all know that whale produces whale is used. The blubber of whales are used by some countries. I think it's mostly Asian countries. It's sold. It's used in different I call it in different avenue as different thing as aphrodisiac, as a means of food, as different thing, right? And several of these countries in which fishermen actually fish for whales, whale fishing is actually not legal, but people still do it, right? So I guess through it, in addition to the whole idea of establishing laws which actually governs how our natural environment are actually treated with regards to conservation of our wildlife, a sensitization effort should be promoted, whether it be through a movie, through documentaries, through advertisements, some way as to get individuals to be sensitized as to the reason why, right? Certain fish should actually be preserved. Not certain fish, but the fish in a whole should be preserved, and they have a place in our society. And it's really a special moment where I think the opportunity is now ripe where which people can actually sit down and actually think about it. Um, that would be good. That would be good, Nedfred. That would be good. And when you start, Nedfred, it will be good. I'm like shooting ahead of the game here. It would be good if you could actually take us through the steps. So one of my streams, I think this week, I'm going to be focusing on how long does it take for you to shoot a video. Do you shoot a video within 1 day, or do you shoot it over time, right? So you could probably start talking about the process right now, and show documenting the steps that you take so as to start your journey with this dead thread, so that when the entire thing comes out to us, the public, we can sit down, we can say, oh, this is what you did for such and such. So probably when you do that, dead thread, Derek, we can actually replicate what you do, right? And we can actually that would be good. That would be good. Thirsty Rabbit. We can actually, I can actually try to replicate what you do. So within our different spaces, I'm in Jamaica in the tropics. You're in Australia. Thirsty Rabbit. Derek is in the States. So we are in three different regions. We look at three different fish that we regard as endemic, native, and becoming, really, the population becoming really low. And we try our best to see how best we can manipulate the situation so as to make these fish species become more populated within the wild. Um, yeah, that's what I was saying. Chewy, with regard to That's what I was saying. I think I mentioned it before. The domestication of fish with the intention of release in the wild, it should be done in a structured way. And I think there is some laws regarding that. Right? Yeah. There are some laws regarding that. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But true, you know that some fish species are caught primarily just for their omega, I think it's omega 3 in content, and for companies that you have omega 3 fish oil, whatever. Some persons actually catch these fish, some species of fish, just to get this oil, so as to sell it on the market, so as to make money. So they're not really catching the fish to consume the fish that will actually nutritious, nutrify the body, but necessary for something else, some other extract, right? As I said before, it's a whole ball game. It's a whole ball game, right? In which out there as far as preservation of the wild, but okay, cool. Yeah, that's true. That's true to it. That's true. Aquarius are not at fault, but at the same time, although we are not at fault, we are still being blamed for this epic situation that now exists within some regions where some fish species are practically extinct, non-existent, right? You have some fish species that was like endemic, native to some region, have actually found themselves into other region, not by someone taking them and placing them there, but as a result of climate climate climatic change. Yeah, climate change, right? And the whole idea of global warming, right? The earth becoming warmer, so they are moving from one region to the next. You find that cold areas have actually become like 1 degrees warmer, something like that, right? I think Thirsty Rabbit, I think I've seen where it is. You have actually gone to the farm already a long time ago. But I'll be so elated if you could actually do that again, right? Especially like the fish that you said that you're gonna be giving over to the farm. If you could like show me the steps, not necessarily me, but your audience, right? The steps that's taken by you to actually transfer the fish from your aquarium space to a larger farm that will actually use those fish for breeding. And I guess like how you're actually sending over your fish over by that space because it is large. I guess you know probably might be able to get a smaller one to keep like exchange, like you get a baby one, so you give them a huge one and get like a baby one, and you can go and keep that, because it's not like you're gonna be selling them. It's just that you're like you're doing your human duty by helping to preserve what exists, right? Yeah, it's a really sticky situation. Okay, Ron. I never knew that. That's cool, right? So you see, the whole idea of repopulating species is not something that is like obsolete. It's not something that can't be done. It can be done. So what Derek is actually saying, that's Deadford 821, right? That is something that can come in motion. That is something that is no that is good, right? But as the caution is actually laid out, and it's also being supported by Chewy Limited, that it depends on the region in which you are at, and it depends on the species in which you're actually dealing with. Cautions are laid out by governing authorities, ministries, or administrations as to how this process should be done, right? Yeah, it should be done. There are guides, right? Um, yeah, they are guides. They are guides. They are guides. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. As I said before, it's supposed to be at 60 minutes. And at first, I was wondering whether or not I'm going to have persons to join me in the conversation. I was wondering if I'm going to be like be talking for the entire time of the stream, having you guys here. It kind of give me the impetus to go over by about 15 minutes. And I'm feeling elated, right? Having like persons like Derek, Deadford A21, True Limited, Thirsty Rabbit, Rohan, I think Gil, the goldfish. It really feel good talking to persons. Not only they are listening only, but they have actually contributed to the discussion. Now you might have missed the stream this morning, this Sunday morning, but I'm asking you all to check the stream from the beginning to the end. Thoughts on what was actually shared with regards to environmentalists, conservationists, aquarists, preserving fish species, whether it be endemic or native, to a particular region that has now become, I call it now, extinct or becoming extinct or rare as a result of either persons catching them to consume them, catching them to keep them, or catching them to actually trade. I'll be out in about 4 minutes, so I'll be just going through the formalities as to how this week will go. Okay, let's see what Thirsty Rabbit has said. Boss, that would be awesome, Thirsty Rabbit. That would be awesome. Awesome, awesome, Thirsty Rabbit. Right? Gail, enough respect. Thank you for spending some time with me this morning. Gail is all the way from Pennsylvania. And because Pennsylvania is a nice place to be. They have some really huge carp. I mean, some really huge carp. And they have like it's really awesome, right? Nearby Hirsch is there, right? Okay. Chewy, in closing, let's see what Chewy says. Yes, government is involved in all countries. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true, and that's true. But you see, sometimes I wonder more time if we are helping our environment when we actually place fish within the environment. It's like we vaccinate them against um certain disease, right? In the sense that we have gone to medication in our aquarium water, right? It's like we give them vaccination. So these fish are like immune to certain disease that they will probably get in the wild. Am I correct, Chewy? Probably you can probably debate that. I'm not sure. I'm not so versed on that, right? But I'm ending my stream now just to say that I appreciate you all for being here. It was a auspicious moment, and I can see that you guys are all with the environment, the natural environment, the conservation environment. Thank you very much for tuning in. It was my pleasure being here. I hope that you enjoyed the moment, enjoyed the discussion, and join me during the week as I share on other lively, interesting topic with regards to fish keeping. Topics that will actually help us as fish keeper to be better persons, be better individuals with fish, ideas. All right. So I am live every morning. I think it's between 6 and 7 Eastern Standard Time. You can check me out. It should be interesting. This week, another 5 days in the morning. With Rally. Peace out. Catch you next time. Love you all. One up. Woo! Yeah, yeah. Big up yourself. Hey, Joe! Joe! Let me at him. Let me at him. Joe, I was just about to leave. I was just about to leave you. 1 minute. 1 minute to throw in your 2 cents, Joe, with regards to would you keep a rare fish within your aquarium space, Joe, so as to help to breed it and preserve it to repopulate the wild in the future? Joe gone already? Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's true, because I used try tetracycline. I use tetracycline. I use tetracycline. Oh, okay, Joe. I see your answer. I used tetracycline on my goldfish once for some redness I saw in the tail, and the redness went away for a bit, and after a while it actually came back. My fish actually survived for about 2 years after. Then it died. The red line was still there, but it died after a while. I don't know the reason why, but it died. But it's a growing process. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Fred, Derek, Joe, Ron, Gail, Chewy, everybody. Appreciate you being here. One up, love y'all. One up. Ah, boss, cool.